Jessica York, your Faith Development Director at the Unitarian Universalist Association. And this morning I want to give you just a little bit of an update on some things that have happened in the Faith Development Office in the past year, or some things that may be upcoming that may be of interest to you. That's an attractive group of people there, isn't it? So some of you know that back in April, we held what we called a Faith Development Innovation Roundtable in Boston, where 14 religious professionals were invited to come and share with us on some of the innovative changes they were trying to bring to their work. There were religious educators there who were focused on their RE programs. There were ministers there who were focused on the entire congregation and some of the changes they're trying to bring. And we shared our stories of change, what made it easy, what made it difficult, what the challenges were, and some of our hopes and dreams for the future. Now, you're going to have an opportunity also to get involved in some of this work that was done. We're going to have a webinar in the spring. Look for an announcement for that. It should be around March or April, I believe, that it's going to happen. It's going to feature some of the folks who were at the roundtable talking about their experience there and what they've done since then. Also, I believe there's going to be an affinity table today that Joy Berry is going to be hosting, and they're going to talk there about innovation and what you think that you might need in order to be to feel strengthened, to go forth into your congregations and UU communities and try to bring some change and take some risk. And that's not always easy, so we want to find some ways to support that. So keep an eye out for some future happenings as we explore even more what it takes to bring innovation to the field of faith development. So often if I was putting together a PowerPoint somewhere towards the end, I may say something like, oh, here's me talking to you, but now I want you to share some things with me. But I decided to put this slide about us wanting to hear from you more front and center, because really listening to you is a big part of what we do in the Faith Development Office. It is a high priority for us, and I wanted you to know that. So as I have been traveling over this past year and a half or so, I've tried to make a point of inviting local religious educators through emails on the Reach list and the LREDA list to come and join me for a meal. So is anyone here who's in the room taking part in any of those meals with me? Yeah. So I've hit some cities already, Portland and New Orleans and Chicago and Columbus. I want you to know that in the spring, in late March, I'm going to be in the Atlantic City area. We're going to have one definitely for Boston, since I am in Boston periodically, and hopefully one also in Memphis, because I want to do some traveling in Memphis. And while I'm vacationing in Memphis, what's better than having a breakfast with the local religious educators, right? So look out for announcements on those meetings, and if you can make it, I'd love to host you and just hear a little bit more about what's happening in your local congregations and communities. There are other ways that you can keep in contact with us too. So we have a blog, Call and Response, and that blog has recently been moved. So now that blog is located on UUA.org. You see the address right there for you, the URL. And we love to have guest presenters on our blog. So let me see again an indication of anyone who's written for our blog before. Good. And if your hand is not up, but you're doing a program that you think might be of interest to other religious educators, or you've had some kind of experience that you would like to share with the larger religious education community, please contact us. We'd love to have people do some guest blogging. We work with you, so don't be too nervous about maybe you've never written a blog before. If you've got an experience, we have experienced people who can help you work on that, most particularly Susan Lawrence, who's here with us today at Fall Conference. You can always contact us at religiousEducation@UUA.org and let us know your idea, and we'll be in contact with you. Also, we've been sending out a series of RE surveys on various topics. I hope that you have gotten an email in your email box about that. If you haven't, and we need your email address, then again, you may want to contact us at religiousEducation@UUA.org and give us your email address. But we've been sending them out about every month, and they're really nice and short, okay? They're only 10 questions, and they're on specific topics. So If you get a survey and it's on Our Whole Lives and you don't have an Our Whole Lives program, then don't do that survey. That's fine. But it's helping us get some information that otherwise is really hard for us to get, and helping me get a better idea of the landscape of religious education across the Unitarian Universalist world. So it's a really important tool for me in terms of finding out where we are right now. So I'd appreciate anyone who can fill out those surveys and remind your friends. So there are curated web pages on our site. There's a couple of new ones that have recently been updated that I'd kind of like to highlight. These aren't the only pages out there, but they are newly updated with some new resources. The Doctrine of Discovery web page, you've got a screenshot of it there, is recently updated by Gail Forsythe Vail. And it has some stories in there of various congregations and how they've been exploring the Doctrine of Discovery in their own local communities that you may find inspiring. And one of our new Ages and Stages pages that Gail worked on for a long time and we're really proud of is the older adult pages. Again, you've got a screenshot there that shows you some of the resources that you can click on and find out more about. Gail is constantly updating these web pages. They include links to curricula like Tapestry of Faith curricula for adults, but also many resources both in the UU world and in the wider world that are helpful to people who are focusing their ministry on older adults. So just want to make sure that older adults are not being excluded in their ministry. We have our monthly webinar series. And as you know, announcements go out again on the REACH and the LREDA list. We also on the What's New page of uua.org/RE have a list of our monthly webinars there. We always have one in the evening and one during the day. That's to make sure that all the various time zones have some access to it. And we record those, so they're archived. So you've got a couple of years worth of archives already on the website, and of course we're still doing them every month. Now this month our webinar is going to be on Monday night and Tuesday afternoon, and we know some of you may be traveling during those days. But if you're here on Monday night and you're not doing anything, why not have a webinar watching party with some of your RE colleagues? This month we're doing part of a series that we started this year, a series called Meet the UUA, where we've invited offices at the UUA to come and present on our webinar about how their work interfaces with your work as a religious educator. And I think you'd be really pleased to know that so many of the offices at the UUA have been thrilled by this idea, and they're like, oh yeah, me, we want to do it. This month we're going to be talking to Standing on the Side of Love. So you'll find out about some of the new activities that are already in place or they're forthcoming for that justice campaign, and hopefully can share with us some of the ways that you've used that in your RE programming. So I hope you can join us for the webinar. It's not too late to sign up for it. And remember, if you can't make it, it will be archived. I love this slide. Those little dancing animals just make me happy. So how many people know that we now have coloring sheets attached to some of the K-1 tapestry programs? Yeah. So we think those coloring sheets are really fun for young people who maybe learn better when they're doing something with their hands. Here's a nice activity for them. These coloring sheets so far have been attached to Creating Home and Wonderful Welcome, and the other two programs are coming shortly. One of the things I really like about it is that we're using several different artists. So all the pictures in the program don't necessarily look alike. There's a lot of diversity within the pictures there. But we hope that you're taking advantage of this, and we just think it's a really cool idea. And we do, of course, always want to remind people about Tapestry of Faith. We know that there's many different curricula that you can choose from, and your congregation already knows about its needs and has a rotation schedule probably set up, some curriculum mapping for what they do. But don't forget that Tapestry of Faith is already done and there and ready for you. And that one of our goals in creating Tapestry of Faith was that young people, as they grow up in our UU congregations, would have some common experience, a common language, a common theology. And we feel that's really important. If you ever have questions about how to maneuver around Tapestry of Faith better, we're happy to answer those questions. Just let us know. This is a group shot from OWL training that I did recently in New Orleans back in February. I try to get out into the field and do OWL training still periodically because, I gotta keep my chops. And it's also good for me to hear about the way things are changing in the world of sexuality education in our UU world. Melanie Davis is our Whole Lives associate. Melanie has been really busy in this past year and will be just as busy in the upcoming year, I'm sure. One of the things that we've done is that we have reinstated Our Whole Lives team at the UUA. For a while, we didn't have a team to come together and to give us some feedback, and now we do. It includes some of your RE colleagues. Cindy Beal, Samaya Oakley are two people on that team, and there are also some UUA staff folks on that team. In this upcoming year, in 2017, you should expect to see the second edition, revision of OWL 4.6, which we're very excited about. We have finished the field test for it, and sometime in 2017, you will have it available for sale, as well as a Sexuality in Our Faith, second edition for 4.6, and a parent guide for 4.6, which also will be updated to match the new curriculum. We recently finished another field test for a program, Parents as Sexuality Educators. It's not Our Whole Lives program, but it is a sexuality program geared for parents of children of all ages, but especially the middle and the high school age children. And that is going to be available online to you. So it won't be something you'll have to purchase. It'll be free online, like the Tapestry of Faith programs are. And we encourage people to consider doing that in their congregations. The next revision that we'll be working on will be the revision for high school, our 10 to 12. That'll take probably a couple years for it to actually come out in print, so it won't be soon, but I do want you to know that revision is coming as we are systematically going through the Our Whole Lives program and revising all of the older programs. I also want you to know that Melanie Davis has been very busy because she's working on creating OWL for older adults. Some of you guys are like, when is that gonna get here? We're going to be field testing for older adults in early 2017. So you should watch out for an announcement for that, or contact Melanie if you know now you're interested in field testing for that. Pat Kahn is the new Professional Development Programs Manager. And she's still with us in the Faith Development Office. So yes, she will be working with the RE Credentialing Committee, and she'll be working with the Music Leadership Certification Committee, but she'll also be still managing the Renaissance program. So we want you to know that you're going to be seeing more online modules becoming available. This summer, we field tested administration and UU identity online, and those soon will be available for you to host virtual trainings in your communities. Also, theology, early 2017 will be available. That's a brand new one. And some of you here, I'm sure, were also part of a new learning opportunity in family ministry. And that will be available online in 2017. And we're also going to be breaking down specific modules within that family ministry. We tried to make that as modular as possible. Our hope is that more ministry teams would take advantage of the family ministry workshops, and so we want to break them down into smaller chunks. Here's a 90-minute piece, for instance, you could do if you're having a district or a regional gathering, or if you're having a cluster meeting where staff teams are meeting together. So look for that to come also in 2017, and we treasure any of the feedback that you give us on these programs. We have a newly configured Renaissance team that we're pretty excited about. Some of the people serving on that team, Allison Crotty, who is one of your local religious educators, is on that team. Yay! Karen Bellavance Grace, who couldn't join us at Fall Conference this year, but she's on that team and she sends her best wishes. Phil Lund, Pat Infante, and Sarah Mills-Paul are also on that team. I just wanted to point out this one new program that I think might really be helpful in your congregation right now. The election may be over soon. Maybe, right? Maybe. But even when that election's done, it's going to leave us even more divided than we were a couple of years ago. So please, if you have a chance, take a look at this program. It is geared for adults, but probably also older youth could take part in the program. And it's specifically about how can we form one faith community when we are carrying around different political identities. So I think it's very useful. So, pamphlets, worship web, discussion guides, come and read. Oh my. I wanted you to be aware that your Faith Development Office does so much more than just curricula or Renaissance or Our Whole Lives or curating web pages. We also are part of the pamphlet team. I chair the pamphlet committee. Mary Bernard works very hard on that pamphlet team with me. We are the people who produce the pamphlets. They have this lovely new design that we're very happy with. We also have a team of folk who work with Erica Hewitt on the worship web, on posting those materials. We produce discussion guides. Gail Forsyth-Vale and a team of people choose to come and read and create a discussion guide for that every year. So we are trying to bring you the resources that we think are the things that you need to help support some of the conversations you want to have in your congregation, particularly along those growing edges. So remember to communicate to us if there are things that you have a need for. Everything isn't going to be a curriculum, right? Some things maybe just need a discussion guide. Some things maybe need to be a webinar. Some things maybe need to be a pamphlet. So communicate with us, and we will certainly try to help you find the support that you need. I want you to know the people who are helping you do that. We have Melanie J. Davis, Gail Forsyth-Vale, Pat Kahn, Susan Lawrence, Kareen Watson will be joining us soon as our new administrator, me, and of course our very capable supervisor, Sarah Lambert, who is the Director of Ministries and Faith Development. Could you folks stand for just a moment, please? All right. I know there's just a little bit of a taste of things, and we don't have time for any questions, but if you have questions, grab any of us throughout this weekend. I do have to leave on Sunday. I won't be with you Sunday evening and Monday morning, but remember you can always also reach us by email.